And you just have to lie down and you're already on a mattress.
Yeah.
Live streaming is on.
Nailed it. Okay, so let's start with check-ins. I think share what's going on in your world today, and if there's any like key things that you really want to make sure that we cover today, now is a good time to share that. I can start. Okay. I don't normally start. I'm doing really well today, though I had to just switch locations last minute because it's been storming here and the internet went down at the last house. So I'm feeling a little bit like frazzled, but grounding in. And yeah, I had sent out a couple of agenda bullets in Discord earlier today, and I didn't get any feedback on like additional things to add at that point. But yeah, just making sure that we come to a decision on our official launch announcement day, scheduling out the things in the content calendar, and then maybe doing a brainstorm of future pieces. And I will popcorn to Lauren since she's sitting right next to me.
Hello. I'm doing good. What's going on in my world is similar to the Forest world.
Can you guys try switching the audio? Because Forest's audio is like really robotic. I don't know if it makes a difference.
Yeah, it's super choppy.
And like your camera is smoother, Lauren.
My computer's pretty sweet. Is it better now?
Yeah. Well, it's looping terribly.
Great.
Okay.
I don't think we can sit next to each other.
Okay.
But then I also can't talk.
Why is it still doing that if she's muted?
I think it's looping into Lauren's computer.
Oh yeah.
Force
Do you have headphones?
Yeah. Turn off the speaker. And
well, no, it's looping into.
Yeah. But her speaker's looping through Lauren's microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the one person should have the speaker and the mic on, and the other person should be muted and whatever you call
it.
Deafened.
You're muted, Lauren.
Okay.
I don't need to have the video or the audio on.
Okay. Forrest just dropped the call.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because the video anyway, the video was fine, but it was just the audio that was getting all crazy.
Okay. Well, we'll just be side by side. And I'll take my headphones out. Cool. Okay. Yeah. I really want to talk about, I mean, one thing that I've been wondering about is like, when is Giveth.io considered feature complete? Are we considered feature complete right now? Are we waiting for this like tooltips with the quality score? I feel like there's all these like kind of like, oh, we're going to add this stuff. And, you know, I asked in the dev channel, I was like, hey guys, like when are we considering this like feature complete and ready for public release? And they're like, that's for comms to decide. So I think we should just talk about that. Other than that, I've been spending some time today trying to like understand more about give backs and like what content we should start like creating and sharing. That's all. And I'll pass it to Mitch.
Okay, I'm not muted this time, so that's good. Doing pretty good. Enjoyed some sun this afternoon, and just like Lauren, like I heard in the dev meeting, they're saying like, okay, we're live, guys, and I was like, okay, like I should know that already. Okay, we're live, and then so I guess this is the call where we start like pinning down dates to make our launch publications, I guess. And so I'm hoping this meeting we can set some hard dates to write all this content we've written like a month ago, you know. And I'll pass it to Bowen.
Hey there. This is only my second comms meeting, so I'm kind of still also in catch-up mode. And like most of the stuff that I've been working on is tracking down people for the token giveaway and also and related items. And hopefully there will be, you know, a little bit more stuff comms involved that I can end up doing as well. And I will pass it over to Griff.
Fuck yes. I am so excited for this like final launch date. I mean, you don't understand. Giveth 2 has been like, this is like a 3-year project. Marco literally started working on this 3 years ago. So, yeah, pretty fucking awesome. I hope we set a date during this call. And other than that, I'm just eating a salad. Having dinner with you guys. Thanks for joining. I'll pass it to Forrest.
Into the agenda, I feel like what Lauren brought up in her share is probably the best to discuss first because it impacts everything. So when is Giveth.io feature complete? Yeah, I guess let's have a discussion around that. I don't have a lot of input on that, obviously, not being much of a dev person. Are all of the features that we wrote about, like particularly in Mitch's article, for example, like all of those things have been implemented and they're just considering doing some additional things now?
I mean, there's always going to be more things. This shit doesn't stop. But I mean, I can donate on XDAI. Like, I donated honey to a project. I mean,
Right.
what's stopping this thing from being feature complete? I think at least the MVP seems launched to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were some things in this sprint, like they were going to make the XDAI, like you can log in with the XDAI network instead of having to be on mainnet. And then like we made this quality score thing where like now projects are being organized in terms of like a score they achieve. Like if you have a project description that's certain length, or if you include a photo, or if you get a certain number of likes, then you get like a higher score. So we were going to add like a tooltip about like how the score is calculated so you can like know how to make your project better. And these are kind of things that we were just talking about in the dev call on Sunday. And so I don't know if they're done yet, but I also don't know. Yeah, like they're awesome things. Could we launch now, or are we going to wait till the end of the sprint?
I think we should launch. I think a lot of the things that we were really stuck on like a month ago, like having like being able to donate more than just Ether, so ERC20 tokens, fiat on-ramping, and XDAI has been really huge, and I think that's enough. And like the more stuff that they're working on, we can just keep piloting it up on staging, and then like once it's ready, we can just like push it further down the road, and then once we've finished the launch and the hype is settled, like we'll have more stuff that's already been tested, tried and true, that we can then just like push.
That's the real question. You guys have been doing testing. Have there been any critical bugs? I mean, like features are complete, but bugs could be showstoppers, right? If you like, I don't think logging in with XDAI is such a big deal, but if you try to donate and it doesn't work, or try to create a project and it looks all funky afterwards, these are the kinds of things that I would say are an issue. But who's been testing? Have there been any big issues?
I mean, I've been doing lots of testing personally, and like I haven't found anything huge.
Yeah, same with me. And the same thing, like the things that we were testing that were bugs, I think they all got fixed just this like last recent go live, and they were even small. It was like, oh, the images are the wrong orientation or something.
Yeah, that's great. So then, yeah, I think it's just now the question is, hey, our content calendar, how do we want to arrange it? And I mean, I would say let's call this thing live, unless there's a blocker. Does anyone else? Yeah, Bowen?
I remember when the first meeting I came to, and we were talking about some of the features of it, you had mentioned that you were hoping to get a flag project thing implemented, and I didn't know if that had actually happened yet or if that was a coming feature. Because of the questionable projects that seem to have started cropping up on the site.
I don't know about how that flag thing. I think they just kind of arbitrarily took the weird ones down. But I think Bowen has a really good point. Like, I don't know if the devs implemented that flag system or anything yet.
I mean, as is, it's already fantastic. It's just a question of I was just wondering whether that was like one of the next things on the roadmap if it isn't in there yet, because I haven't actually played with it since we put up the My Crypto project to see what would happen.
I'm pretty sure the main thing is that the top projects are all normal, right? They did some back end stuff where they just gave scores to different manually, and I don't see any of the weird, ugly projects high on the list.
Yeah, you had mentioned that it was going to sort by likes or something at one point, which it kind of was doing, sort of, but it seemed like there's some sort of weirdness around it. But
it's because go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably saying the same thing. It's because they implemented this quality score after those projects were up. So it's only like new projects that are getting created that get a quality score. And so you need to like update all the projects or whatever. So like on staging, it's kind of like not really like testable, but it's all there now.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm learning about this as I go along. So
that's good. I was just looking on the board for the flags issue. The flags issue is still there in new issues. I think that like once kind of we went ahead with the quality score idea, and then James was just like manually deleting projects. Like mostly Mitch was suggesting like this one's sketchy, and he manually deleted them. And I think that's just where we are now.
Yeah, I don't think that's a blocker for launch.
No.
A flag,
but we're opening the floodgates, and so our only recourse to remove projects is manually.
Yeah, and that's something that these things can be fixed in a day too. Like this is a pretty quick fix, and if people see a project up there for 12 hours or something, like, dude, if that's the worst bug we find, oh my god. What a successful launch. Okay. We're gonna have other problems that are way worse than that, I would imagine. And that's fine. We just gotta launch. If we launch perfect, we launch too late.
Yeah, I think we're good then. Why don't we just say that we're ready for launch, and now we can just kind of talk about like, okay, when do you guys want to launch? What should we do to hype this?
Yes.
Yeah, what are some good days? Because we have the content already written.
Actually, I have. Well, I mean, you know what? I was in this. So this morning I met with Marco and Danny, and Marco was talking about doing like a redesign of the website, kind of incorporating like elements around givebacks. And then the conversation was like really shifted towards like, oh, we were kind of talking about the new DApp being like easy crypto donations, but that's not what makes Giveth special. What makes Giveth special is kind of like this like circular giving economy where you're like, it's like donor owned, and then like donors have an influence on like where their money's going to, and then like we have all kinds of things that are incorporated in that. And it was like, I feel like not really reflected so much in at least the piece that I wrote proposing launch, because when I was like gathering information about it, we were talking mostly about like easy to make a project, super fast. And I don't know, it was like already like months ago that I created this piece. So I don't know if, I mean, it's still relevant, but maybe it's not as exhaustive. I'm wondering if like we could also just like kind of roll out more information about givebacks and like make things more exciting later, if we should go back and change things.
I think you should maybe just spend a little bit of time like updating your article, and then publish it as is, and then like we'll save that for like more content pieces. You know, we can keep on giving them breadcrumbs as like we have more exciting things to announce.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I'm just gonna I'll add like one sentence. It'll be
Yep.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Just
a little bit
update it.
later.
Mhm.
Yeah, and a little bit later, adding more information on it as its own standalone piece would be good, because I think, especially for the projects that might be kind of new to crypto that are using this, that is like a big leap in understanding how things work. So it'll be helpful to have a whole piece just to kind of dive into that.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So then the thing is that we do have I mean, I have that launch piece ready. The video's already up. What other content did we want to launch Mitch's piece about the differences between Giveth Trace sooner? I mean, let's, I guess, talk about the content calendar.
Mhm.
I can't
I mean-
go into it, but it's in the shared Giveth communications folder.
Yeah.
The content folder.
Like apart from that, for launch, like I was just planning to do those 2 Reddit posts, and then there's the key technical differences, which would I thought in my head maybe like a week later or 2 weeks after launch would go up.
Yep. Yep, and then there's the donation pathways piece that Danny is in progress on.
And then there's the change maker campaign, which
Yeah.
could even be even later, like a month after launch.
Mm-hmm. How ready is that campaign looking?
Pretty ready. Like the launch article is there for the campaign. We picked a hashtag for it. Maybe the only thing left is to like find little excerpts there that Magenta can put in the Twitter. I think like maybe 3 or 4 people already did the QA on it. So
I just need an update. Yeah, so I mean, I was like looking at the moon calendar. I think it's good to work like a few days after the new moon, but that's several weeks away. So I think we should just kind of have to do away with that. Do we want to post this week? We could choose to like publish Lauren's post, and the YouTube videos are even published, but it'll be embedded in that post that we intended to do. I mean, when do you want to work on editing, like just making that sentence?
Like I could do it after this call.
Yeah. So I mean, we could do like midweek, like Wednesday of this week. I feel like it's better to do. People are like a little bit more active online and stuff, like early and midweek versus the end of the week or the weekend.
mhm. Does Magenta, do you know anything about this, like these metrics?
I would, not so much, especially crypto world has its own people work all this time, maybe the least on Saturday. But I would say the most important factor that I'm aware of is the syncing it with the Gitcoin grants close. Like I would suggest launching it before the close of Gitcoin grants, because we might get a lot of traction with it and get some more exposure, more Twitter followers in time for more Gitcoin grant donations coming in. So yeah, I would say Wednesday would be the latest. That would give us Tuesday to like tie up the loose ends if we need to, and feel solid about it and get everyone prepared. Because I think I don't know if Twitter works the same way. I know with Facebook, if you how their boosting algorithms work is as soon as you post something, the more shares it gets earlier on, like the better it does in their algorithm thing. I have no idea if Twitter works the same way. But regardless, it's probably good to like have at least a day to prep everyone. Like, hey, we're doing the first launch on Wednesday. Would really appreciate your outreach, and yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah. I think Wednesday is really good. I don't know if anybody has anything against it.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Cool.
And Magenta, when you were just saying like about outreach, are you referring to like our internal team, like posting on Discord and making sure that everyone knows when we're going to be announcing, and then we internally can all get online and say retweet, like, engage, like commenting, or were you referring to like doing some outreach to our partners and stuff on Tuesday and like letting them know, okay, tomorrow's the day, like we would really appreciate your support and here's how you can support?
So we're talking this Wednesday, correct?
Yeah.
Launching this Wednesday.
2 days.
So since we're kind of since my crypto's got a thing on there too, I'm pretty sure that it will be trivial to get a my crypto tweet about it too. So I will talk to Jordan about that later today and let him know that we're launching on Wednesday, so he knows, and then he can, if nothing else, he can share that campaign along with the fact that, you know, probably retweeting your lunch tweet at the same time. And so that'll be nice cross promotion out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. Griff, do you know anywhere else that we could blast it, like in Omar or anywhere else? Like, hook us up.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just spend schedule an hour and just like try to get everyone in there to blast it wherever they can, and just have a dedicated hour of distribution. The other thing is, I hope that we, because like I'm sure we could dream up lots of places, but what matters is we do it. So when the content's there, you know, let's just all get together and then do it. But the other piece of it is we gotta play this Gitcoin. I mean, we're not in a vacuum. The fact that Gitcoin round is ending, we should like somehow loop that into our narrative. You know, like, hey, Gitcoin rounds ended, Giveth just begun. You know, or like now it's time. Like, the giving doesn't have to stop just because Gitcoin's round is over. Come on, bring this party over.
Does it end Thursday, or Thursday is the last day?
Thursday is the last day.
So like Wednesday morning, and then we'll have like a full 36 hours to get some last minute donations.
Yeah, I'm curious if everyone is available like right before or right after the dev call on Wednesday morning, because we could do like a 1 hour hack session and all be online at the same time while we're publishing the article and like tweeting, and
Yeah.
we can all be engaging on and like retweeting and commenting.
I think this communications hack session should supersede anything else. You know, it's super important. So
I'm available.
So Wednesday, the dev call is from 9 to 10 a.m. Costa Rica time, which I think is 10 to 11 a.m. Central. So does before or immediately before or immediately after that call work better for everyone?
Both work for me.
Okay. Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's fine.
I assume Bowen is probably only available after.
Yeah.
This is
Magenta,
this
goes
Wednesday, you said?
4th in the morning. We're talking about launching and hopping on an hour-long call to hack, you know, while we're hitting publish and, you know, posting some announcements and asking people to engage, and us logging into our accounts also and engaging.
I have to leave the house at 1 o'clock. It would be better for me for before, but don't work it around me. I'm working on rewriting the article that I have to encompass some of the things Griff was just mentioning. We talked about that last week. So I'll try to be there if it's after, but I can be there for sure if it's before.
I think the more heads, the better. And it'd be good if you're there, Danny, because you have lots of really good ideas. So.
And so far, you're the only one with an explicit expressed preference. We haven't heard yet from Bowen or Magenta.
Either is fine for me.
She said either.
Oh, cool. Bowen, could you come earlier than that? It would be at 9 a.m. Central.
He just said in the chat yes to
It
dip.
would be at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Mountain. Yes, you're right. It would be at 9 a.m. Central.
Yeah, so I'm sure that he's a after person, but we could always just do also half an hour after the dev call, do the first hour before. I honestly think it would be really good to do it a little bit before, and then after the dev call, get everyone who was at the dev call and not at the comms meeting to just like help us out.
Yeah. Great
Like I'm sure
idea.
Kai would be really good to blast it on, metagame and
Cool. So we can schedule it the hour before the dev call and then like spill over to the half hour after.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. I'm scheduling that.
I like that.
Thank you, Forrest.
It's gonna be in tomato red.
And guys, the like scoring an extra $500 on Gitcoin really doesn't matter. So like just like when we're doing all this, don't worry about trying to raise money like on Gitcoin. Like what's more important is this like continuation of like the giving spirit,
Cool.
Yay!
cool. That was easy.
We have a date.
Are you guys excited?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next order of business is to go through the content calendar and assign dates that we intend to publish our different pieces. So at launch, the future of giving is here. So that will be Wednesday, March 24th morning. Okay. And then also, I'm going to insert a row below and just say Wednesday, March 24th morning, and mention the 1 hour before dev call and 30 minutes after dev call hack sessions for Giveth team to personally announce to friends and fam, engage with our announcement posts, request partners to share our exciting news, etc. Okay. And so the other posts, so we've got Mitch's Reddit post on the our Giveth update.
Mm-hmm.
When do you feel makes the most sense to publish
At
that?
launch.
Okay, same day.
Yep. And like just same as Lauren, like I'll probably just go back and fix it up a little bit. But there's two posts. So there's one that's a cold pitch, and then there's a one that's just to update the Giveth subreddit. And like we said before, like who knows what kind of response we're gonna get, but we'll do it with launch, I guess.
Okay, for both of them?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so then we have the technical differences of Giveth Trace and Giveth for post-launch. I feel it makes sense to publish this like maybe early next week. What do you guys think?
I would say minimum a week after.
Like you would like to see it published later?
Like a week after. And now that we're talking about it, I probably have to update it because we've added a lot of cool shit.
Okay. Dev updates requires this article to be re-reviewed and edited. Okay, so you can always just let us know when you anticipate to have that ready, and we could. I'm just feeling like it's good to maybe do another piece like at the beginning of a week, so we could skip next week and do the beginning of the following week. But if you're saying it doesn't really matter with the crypto community, just not to publish on Saturdays, then.
I mean, like Wednesday, the week after launch, And like if we just do that, like I can have it ready the Monday, we can do QA Tuesday, and then publish it on Wednesday.
And next Monday is the Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. And then we have the calling all change makers social media campaign that's also giving the call to action for people to act on the project.
Mid-April.
Yeah, this one will like really build momentum, I feel. So we've got Wednesday the 24th. The following week is Wednesday the 31st. So we could maybe do it like Monday, April 12th or Tuesday, April 13th.
Excuse you.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's 3 weeks after launch.
Are there any I feel like Willie and Griff have both done a few like live talks at MetaFest and different things. Is there any sort of thing like that on the calendar for April where we can have an announcement about the social impact campaign shared in that way, and then the referencing the article?
Not that I can think of, but let me look. I have something on the 25th actually. Let me check on it and get back to you on this.
Awesome. So let me just put a question on that in the content calendar. Scheduling any live talks with
Danny, that interview that you and I did, does someone have that for editing, or where are we at on that one?
It died, and we have to do it over again.
Okay, I'll twist my arm. Have to talk to you again.
I know. Well, we had talked about wanting to do it over again anyways.
I think it'll be better.
I know, me too.
Yeah, and I get to talk to you again. Yay.
Okay. So let me edit that one also about Bloom Network.
Are you going to update the planning GitHub at all for these launch dates?
Sorry, what was your question, Mitch?
If we're going to do anything with the planning repo for these launch dates? I can just assign myself, be like, have this ready to publish like X date, and we can follow up with our QA and all that.
I'm making the notes in the content calendar right now, but I can replicate those.
I can just own my articles too, and I can just put those GitHub issues out.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, can you assign a date in GitHub? But I don't think so, because we're not doing like sprints. So we could either like put it in the title if we want to make it really obvious. We could put like the publication date as like the first part of the title.
It'll just be easier for me to tag you guys in GitHub issues when things are ready to go out.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, I think that those are all the pieces. I know, Danny, you're working on the donation pathways article, right? Is that the one that you're referring to?
Yeah, that's the one that I still felt like it didn't have a clear purpose, but now I see what it is, and it's to inform people of all the different ways to donate. Like, oh, you missed Gitcoin. That's okay. We have all these other ways to donate. So I'm actually hacking on it now, and I got some images and things. So that's the one I want to be able to launch at the end of Gitcoin grant.
Okay, meaning like on Thursday of this week?
I don't see why not.
We'll have some time
Yeah,
in like I don't know
tonight.
Right.
Tonight's the best. After this call,
Yeah.
in 20 minutes. Oh, we're just planning the Giveth.
You're not actually muted, Griff.
Fucking
It says you're muted, but you're not.
IO.
It says muted, but it's not.
How
Really?
we want to be in on your party.
Yeah.
Here.
We want in.
How can you
Hey there.
the mute
Let's
doesn't work?
go.
I heard
We
there's
heard
mangoes in
you.
the bathtub.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What up? How you doing?
We're loving you. You're looking great. Look at this hair. What?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's strange, Griff. It sounds like you have two mics going at the same time because you have a little bit of a delay. It's very strange.
Is your phone on, Griff? Check your phone.
My phone? I mean, I would be here
Are you-
twice.
are you-
You're
Can
being
you-
recorded.
You can still
Yeah,
hear
all
me.
Maybe you have two instances of the thing running.
No, you would see him twice. All of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sudden, your voice echoed, and then we could still hear you, even though you were muted.
Even though you were muted.
So weird.
Hacked. Oh,
He
there we
does
go.
that sometimes.
It's like,
been on
Rage
the
quit.
road, and all my typing was audible the whole time. I had no idea. It was like oh man, it was so bad.
What was the next thing that we needed to do, Forrest?
Okay, so Danny, I have the goal for you to publish on Thursday, March 25th. So tag us, this week if there's QA that you need to do, get some editing done before that's published.
Yep.
Danny to okay. Let me go back.
And now
to
you're actually muted.
Yeah.
Done. So we scheduled our content publication date. So yeah, the next thing is to do a content brainstorm, which is shifting gears from Giveth.io, though we can basically either, I feel like we have two options here. We can either do a brainstorm around like the Give token stuff, like the Give token economy narratives and key messaging and the launch and the Give Backs launch, or we can start our content brainstorm with recognizing that we have like two things we're publishing this week, one thing we're publishing next week, and then the social impact campaign like 2 to 3 weeks later. But that's about it. So if we happen to wind up having a long gap between launching Giveth.io and launching the Give token economy, we may want to have some additional content, some additional communications pieces that we start writing to continue the momentum while we're working on getting the Give Backs and the Give token ready to also announce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
What-
think there's some really good ideas that have already been put forth. Like there's obviously a give back technical thing that needs to be written for Medium. I think there was a really good one that James started writing in the Notion, in the narrative about like why philanthropy is broken, that I think can be expanded on and be like a really interesting like thought piece that we could publish to Medium. Those are a couple ideas.
Yeah, there's actually already 2 GitHub issues that Marco created when he was making the Give Back planning board. It's like content, I assigned myself because I was like, I want to do this. Content that explains what give backs are and how to apply, and then an article explaining how give backs work. So it's kind of like similar things.
Redundant.
Redundant, but there are already
Slightly.
2 things for that one thing.
Yeah, great. Well, that's 2, you know?
They're
We're
right
also
here.
going to need even before givebacks can launch, we're going to need a piece on verifying as a project. Just a how-to. It should be really short and sweet, but
Yeah, I was actually asking and wondering about that today. So I don't. It's already decided how projects are going to get verified. They need to like apply to get verified, and we already know how that's working. Like
yeah,
somebody.
there's a great issue about it. I mean, obviously, nothing's deployed, and so everyone, if anyone is like, this is stupid and wants to change it, hey, cool. But the rest it's already at least checked out. Yeah. And we even have a form for people to fill out to become a verified project.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could launch that before anything else. There's nothing blocking it. If someone wants to be a verified project, we could start collecting.
That's a good idea, because that could be like what Forrest was saying, the in between launch and give back stuff. It's like, oh, by the way, you could verify your project and become eligible for like real cool, fun stuff that's coming soon.
Yeah.
From a user perspective, I want that for the ones we're building right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a GitHub issue where that needs to be sorted out, and then we could create like an article like running them through the how-to of how they would go ahead and get set up.
Yeah, it should be pretty quick. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just nice to have that one piece you hand someone, hey, become a verified project. Here's everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Not much.
Like a 3/4 of a page sort of thing. And then you could have a technical one that could be like 2 or 3 pages.
I mean, there's really nothing technical about it. It's just like, fill out this fucking form, dude.
No, sorry. I was thinking of something else already, but
yeah. It would just be justifying why we do it. There might be a little bit like how to, and then like, hey, guess what? Like, we want to add a little bit of, we're a donor run platform and we care about the donors and we want to do a little bit of curation for them, and so if you're a project and you want donors to see you, you better verify.
So when I hear project verification, I think of like Bright ID and end user verification. So I know that's not what we're talking about, but that's the relationship that I make in my mind, that somehow we are verifying that the person on the other end is who they say they are.
I mean, are we partnered with Bright ID? Like, let's get that in there.
Well, that's just where my brain went when you said technical and I heard verified. Those are the things that
makes
went off.
total sense, right?
Future state in some way.
We don't actually right now in our MVP thing. We don't care if someone's unique. So, like verifying your Twitter, verifying that you have a website, verifying that you own it, and these sorts of things, they add value. But like Bright ID, we're not doing quadratic voting or any voting. We're not really doing any kind of like, you have to be a one person to donate, and that adds value. So there's no real need for Bright ID.
No, but what about something like Idena? No.
No, I mean, these things are not like, really, we just need them to verify that they control the Twitter, that's pretty much, or like in some way run their own website or something, and now that I think about it, the half of the form for verified projects was like, hey, don't fuck us on givebacks. That's pretty much the whole point of making them fill out this form, is making sure that they're agreeing to certain, like, not frauding us with.
But there's no layer in there at all about being a trustworthy person on the other end of it.
No, that's the other half. The other half is, hey, have you been a nonprofit for a while? Like, what are you using these funds for? Have you used funds already? Like, do you have some sort of like official, I'm a nonprofit thing going on?
Every time I hear you say that, I flinch.
Well, not that you have to, but it's a really easy way for us to verify you're legit, right?
Right. But if you're not if you're in a position where you can't, you know why that makes me twitch, because now we're telling people you need to be set up as a business in some legal sort of capacity with your nation state.
Or if they at least have some history, right? Like, oh yeah, I've been running this Gitcoin grant for, here's my updates, here's my link.
Sorry, I know that's a side tangent. It's just something that I'm working on with the guys in Patagonia to actually find the right people that we can set up wallets for and who to give the money to in a place that corruption is a significant issue. So we had to make sure I worked with them to make sure they had the information, because I was explaining, we don't do that for you. You have to do that. Cool. Okay, what else you got on the agenda for us? I know we tangented.
That's okay, no worries. So just to make sure that we've closed the loop on the verifying projects thing, Lauren, did you say, is that related to what you said excited you and you signed up for on GitHub, or was that was about the give backs with Marco?
This was, no, what I was talking about was what excited me was just like how givebacks actually makes like Giveth a new future of giving, where it's like donor owned, and that's what was exciting to me. But like the issues that I'm already on for are like creating an article about like how givebacks work or whatever. And I was asking questions about the project verification because it's sort of like part of this. It's like you need to, like, donors to verified projects get givebacks. And then I was like, is this done? And so then I'm like finding it in the GitHub right now.
Okay. Does anyone feel called to write the article on everything you need to know, like how to become a verified project on Giveth.io?
I mean, yeah, I can take it.
But is it actually done? I don't think the project verification is like.
No, definitely not. And I don't think that article comes out until it probably comes out with or like after the announcement of a Giveth token, because project verification is going to be token focused. Like we can start implementing it before the token's out, but I don't know, are we going to just announce the day we launch the token, or are we like, how is that? I don't know exactly how we're planning on doing that.
And that's a whole coordination side of things. Like that goes back to like even the site design upgrades we talked to Marco about this morning. We're talking about content, but that content gets released as part of a whole other launch calendar.
I mean, even if we don't start looking at it for a full month, I like at least to have it in our head and like be consciously gathering information and brainstorming.
Okay, but it sounds like that actually won't be an in-between piece to continue the Giveth.io launch momentum, because the verifying projects piece is going to come after the launch of the token. So that kind of brings me back to, the Giveth.io launch momentum, because
can I just check in on that just really quick? Because I feel like we just circled a little bit. We can do project verification before the token
before launch of the token, but maybe after the announcement. Like I assume we're going to announce the token before we launch the token.
Oh yeah, but I mean for project verification and curation. Oh, so we're only doing that with the token. Okay. Sorry.
The main reason we have to do it is because we have to get, one of the big things that we have to do is we have to tell the users, the projects that want givebacks, that they can't screw us and play games with the money they raise. So it would be we would just have to, if we verified we have to announce the token. Otherwise we'd have to verify everyone again to tell them that, like it's like a blocker for verifying projects. I didn't realize that when we started talking about it, but now.
Yeah, I mean, part of me was like, well, we want to be able to ask people to do that anyways. The token itself and the method of how we're going to verify it doesn't actually have to precede it. but it kind of does. I just had to walk through that.
Yeah. Yeah. But we definitely, I do think we can verify projects before deploying the token.
But we might decide that we want different metrics once we launch the token. So we might just have to like do it again. I'm trying to understand, like, are you trying to say for us that there's a gap where we need to create some more content?
Yeah, I'm just suggesting that we really don't know when we're going to be launching the Give token. Like, for example, the Giveth.io launch was pushed back later than at least I had anticipated, and I totally understand that that happens, but just proactively expressing that it's very possible the Give token, won't launch for a while, and we have the pieces that we already discussed in our content calendar around continuing the momentum and excitement of the Giveth.io launch. And that pretty much gets us to like 4 weeks from now. So do we want to start brainstorming?
Well, we've got the change maker. That's going to be mid-April.
Yeah, that's the one that we would publish like 3 to 4 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm. And then we run that for 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, maybe longer.
Mm-hmm. And when you say run that, you mean like Twitter and Reddit posts?
Yeah, because the idea with the campaign is that we're going to be collecting stories and then we're going to be publishing them,
Yeah.
So like right there, you've got 2 weeks to maybe a month of content right there. If it's a successful campaign, and then that takes us into May.
Okay. Cool. That makes sense. And then, Mitch, you were referring earlier to, that's also on Give Back technical documentation breakdown. So that goes here. And you mentioned an interesting thought piece. I think you said Kai brought it up. Can you remind me of what the topic is? And is that something that we would also schedule as Giveth.io launch momentum, or is that something specific around like give backs and other things?
I would say James wrote it, and it was just like a quick little blurb, but I think the idea can be built on a little bit. He was talking about like how philanthropy is broken, and like when you try to donate, like only so much actually goes to the causes. And so like we could maybe flesh that out into like a bigger piece, and you could throw it in like somewhere between launch and the social change maker campaign, or you could just write it and like put it in the log there, and if we get a slow week we can throw it out.
Yeah.
Memes are really good too. I mean, like just tweeting some memes if there's a slow week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been creating a lot in the meme parties. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like the idea of doing the thought piece in between, like doing it before the social change maker campaign. It's like almost building up the why, like here's kind of the problem, and then boom, here's all these cool stories of people that are doing good. So it's like not just like leaving them.
Sorry, so you're saying that the story's in there, but you're saying before the change maker.
Yeah, I like doing it before the change maker campaign because it's
and then following into the stories that will come out of the change maker campaign.
Yeah, it's only adding to like, here's the problem, that Giveth is solving, and also here's the problem, and like and then now here are these stories that we want to share because, it's really amplifying that message.
This piece that James wrote has like a distinct focus on the Give token.
I think it can be modified. I think like the thought or like the idea behind it is there, and like I'd almost like him just to get him to write it, you know, because he like was really passionate about it. But he's a busy guy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's like we could ask him if he
But
really
he
wants.
literally, he just got like super fired up about it, and he just like pumped it out. He's like, "Fuck, I need to write it down."
Yeah. I can connect with James on that and be like, "Hey, James, we love this thing. We're thinking about maybe editing it. And if he doesn't want to do it, I can like do it."
Mm-hmm.
It'd be stoked to see that piece get out there. I have similar gripes about philanthropy, and I'm like delaying writing them all out into an analysis. So if someone else has written that, I'm happy to blast that around.
I just shared what he wrote in the Notion, so you guys can just see it.
Is there any way to see, like, when we have these calls in Interspace? And I know we're live streaming them, but there's like these chat boxes never get saved anywhere.
Yeah, they go into the abyss.
Yeah.
That's God.
Another piece that I would love to see written is just like, hey, you can get double matching with Panvala on and donate Pan on XDAI, save gas fees. You know, I feel like there's not enough talk about how we're using XDAI to save gas. Like, that's way better than ZK Sync. I feel like especially when we get the fiat on ramp and off ramp. Holy crap! When that comes in, it really transaction fees just go down so much.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would. I could definitely take on something like that.
Mitch, he's the man.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm
Okay,
eating
yeah.
my supper.
That really gives us a lot of rich content. And do you feel, Griff, like, is that one that, like, especially with the gas fees right now, like maybe that's one that we would want to prioritize a little higher up, because it's addressing like a current issue.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, ZK Sync does as well. I just want to make sure to be real. Like, you know, if you have money on Ethereum, then you have to move it over to XDAI, right? But there's a lot more stuff. There's a lot more reasons to go to XDAI than there is ZK Sync, right? So it's a lot easier to justify. But still, like, if you have money on Ethereum, you're gonna have to pay the gas. Like, you got trapped, right? But there's yeah. So what I really want to avoid is talking shit about Gitcoin. That's what I want to avoid at the utmost cost. I want to always be like, Gitcoin is an inspiration for us. Gitcoin is like our heroes. You know, even though it's expensive, like, dude, these guys are the best, right? So I don't know. I don't even know if that addresses what you asked.
But it's good to mention that. And also I was thinking that about like James's piece, like the philanthropy is broken piece. I know, Griff, you've mentioned before, like wanting to stay away from outright saying we're like disrupting an industry, or that, like, you know, philanthropy or government, like not wanting to make like really huge claims. So I'm just curious, yeah, what your perspective is on that, and us writing an article around philanthropy being broken.
I mean, at least for the common stack, like I play both sides, right? Like, I say, listen, like, this is a totally fucked up, like, everything is broken, There's no wrong way to fund public goods. Whatever people are doing, it's great, right? It can be done better. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's broken. But yeah, I just not talking shit about like individual projects or any
Yeah.
even like, God, you know, you can't make people feel like suckers for donating, you know?
I mean, it's just like any innovation, though. We're really just taking it to the next level. Like, same with the Gitcoin thing. Like, Gitcoin does great work. You know, they invented the wheel, but then, you know, we're building the sports car.
Yeah. And I feel like the Panvala piece is another piece as well, and getting Iran to like help us write that. But the cool thing is with us, people can donate Pan on XDAI and get matched from Panvala at the end of the quarter for the entire year nonstop. So it's a nice it'd be something that we could that we'd want to integrate.
How's that list looking for us?
I am noticing that we're 6 minutes over time, so I want to honor that. I feel like we've had a good content brainstorm, and next time we connect on, I believe, Friday, we can dig in more detail around like the Give token economy content pieces. But for now, it feels like we've got a lot of great stuff scheduled out for the Giveth.io launch. I took a lot of notes in Google Drive and also in the content calendar. And I will transfer those over to GitHub so that we've got everything clear. And then, yeah, as Mitch mentioned, like, please own your GitHub issue. So if you have an article that you're writing and you need editors, like, please tag them in GitHub and like reassign to them so that they're aware of doing that. And I believe we had said, like, let's review things within 48 hours to keep them moving along, and especially the pieces that are going out this week. That's of the most importance.
Mm-hmm. And just to help us remember everything, like, I don't know who owned what, but when you're making the GitHub issues, just like assign people.
For
so
sure.
Then we have like an action plan.
One person.
Yeah.
Assign
One person, but whoever, like, you know, I spoke up for some things and Lauren did as well. So like,
yeah, I have
you
those
know,
notes.
yeah. And I think like skeleton, we have enough stuff for the next month and a half.
Yeah.
And then we also have some like rich content pieces that we can like fill in to make it even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all about the memes right now. I'm going through and grabbing my favorite memes right now and adding cool Giveth logos to them because that, like, polish, like getting them polished. Like, I'm going through my article and I'm like, I just need really cool pictures for this, and I'm golden. Mm-hmm.
People are only going to read.
All about the picture.
Yeah.
How are you doing that, Danny? You're like using a photo editor or something?
Well, so I was using a photo editor for like that one that you saw today that I did. But I have to admit, I decided I wanted to try using that mural application, the one that makes NFTs, just cause I saved it and it has a cool editor in it. So that's what I'm playing with right now.
Cool.
But ultimately, whatever, the one that you saw, I literally did that with whatever this thing is called, Paint 3D.
Nice.
Paint 3D is great. Like, I was using that to redesign the Giveth page, the Giveth subreddit, and like you can just take all the little graphics that Marco made and just throw them on there as stickers, and like it's super easy.
It is. Then like just copy, I just take a screenshot and then I go open my Paint 3D and it says, what do you want to do? And I hit the paste button and it puts it there and then I crop it.
Yeah, it's
Do
great.
we have these logos
It's
with like
whoop, whoop, whoop.
the checkers background that you can actually just like overlay onto things?
The transparency? Yeah, I just went and downloaded the white and black and purple.
Okay, cool. Maybe, Danny, I'm going to bug you about this after. I'm sorry for keeping everyone.
Yeah, not today. I'm about done today.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm on the Eastern time. It's already over 12 hours for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eastern time, frick.
I know. Crazy.
So
Well,
late.
Awesome. Well, I'll make
Well-
an announcement in Discord that we're doing it on Wednesday so that everyone else is also aware. I'm super excited. Yeah, and if anything comes up, like please be sure to flag in the communications channel. Thanks.
Yeah,
you
thanks, guys. Just test the DAP a little bit, and if you see anything, make the issue, but then pass it straight to James or Mateo if it's like, if it's something important.
Mission critical.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.